Hello and welcome back to the post-match pint in association with Purity Ale. And we start the season, gentlemen, with a win. Chris Dolan, Dan Bardell, Tom Julian as the live guest. And Dan, first of all, good to have a win on the opening day of the season.
Yeah, the way I always look at these things is we're 2 points better off than we were last season. Obviously, we drew with Sheffield United at home, so it's a good start. We've got 2 points credit as far as I'm concerned. It wasn't pretty. I don't think watching us against 10 men is a true barometer of how we're going to be. I thought Sheffield United, actually, to their credit, defended very well with 10 men, and it's pleasing to get off the mark with a win. I was really interested to have seen how that would have gone 11v11, but obviously that was early doors. That was all out the window with John Egan sending off, which I thought was a little bit harsh, but I understand why he was sent off. It was a bit similar to the one we saw Liverpool-Chelsea at the weekend. It wasn't pretty, but we couldn't beat a team with 10 men last season. So again, that's another thing we've done better than last season already.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris, a great start for Emi Martinez as well.
Yeah, I was actually going to just raise that point before you asked me the question. I mean, just everything. I mean, I was a little bit concerned. There's a few moments in the first half where it was a little bit like, passing around the box, and it looked a little bit nervy. But no, once he grew into the game, he just looked so assured and so composed and so comfortable on the ball. And you look at Chelsea and you look at Kepa and goalkeepers making mistakes, and it's, for me, that's the signing of the window. In the Premier League above, that for me, that's just like, phenomenal piece of business. And he showed tonight what a quality goalkeeper is. Even there was a couple of times he didn't make a save apart from the penalty save, but there was a few moments where he just commanded his box so well and came for balls, and he just looked so assured. So he was the man of the match for me tonight, purely based on the penalty save.
Yeah, it's so important, isn't it, to have a keeper that you trust in, and I saw a few people saying he's already earning his transfer fee. Dan, I think to go back to your point, we're already 2 points better off than we were last season, and he can be he can count himself a big component of that.
Yeah, and also I put him in my fantasy football team, so that's an excellent piece of business by myself, which is always pleasing, because I've made a couple of bad decisions in the first few weeks, but that one's one of my better ones. Like Dolan said, he didn't have much to do, but it wasn't just a standard penalty save, I would say. I thought it wasn't a terrible penalty. It was a good save at full stretch, and then I celebrated, and then you suddenly start to worry about whether his feet were off the line and things like that. But he obviously managed to negotiate that rule quite well as well. He just looks a presence. You always take the mick out of me about distribution, but his distribution looks very good as well. He's got good technique when he's got the ball out of his hands. He did a lovely throw out in the second half as well, and you can just see he's got something about him. He's got the stature. He's someone who's on the up, as I said on the last show we did, and I think he'll make a big difference, because we did have our moments with goalkeepers in the second half of the season.
I'm sorry, I can't remember the last time you said a Aston Villa goalkeeper had bad distribution. It's like they could be the worst goalkeeper in the world, but they've all got good distribution.
I mean, you're just struggling to move with the times, Tom. It's always been something that you've struggled with, both in fashion and in football opinions. You've just not moved on with it, and distribution for a goalkeeper is a very important thing nowadays.
Absolutely. You mentioned your fantasy football team. I had Egan, so that's
so did I.
As did Dan, which he failed to mention. But yeah.
What did you make of the sending off, Dolan? Did you red for you or not?
Yeah, it was for me. I mean, there's the argument of they had the other player coming around the side, but I mean, if you look at yesterday's decision with Mane, for me, it was fairly similar. The referee was pretty sure it was a red card. He gave the red. It wasn't upgraded or downgraded. For me, it was a red card. He was last man. The reason the keeper got to the ball was because Watkins was having a shirt pulled. So, if Watkins wasn't having a shirt pulled by Egan, he would have had at least 2 or 3 yards on him, and the keeper would have stayed in his line, and then it would have been a 1-on-1. So for me, it was the correct decision. Never easy playing with 10 men. It's no one's given right to go on and win a game of football with an extra man, because they just go and set up sort of banks of 4. But they haven't been around the Premier League that long, but they're quite a streetwise team. They've been together for 4 or 5 seasons, and I think last season we would have probably drawn that game 0-0. So it was it was just really pleasing to get the win, and 3 points is just massive. It doesn't matter how pretty it was or how ugly it was. 3 points is just massive. So absolutely delighted, and I know as well that'll not be the sort of squad that we'll see. There will be 3 or 4 more players I would imagine coming in, because that bench looked very, very light tonight. Not many options to come off. So I think again it's another win, another week to hopefully get in a couple more players, and I think we'll be absolutely fine this season.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned the goal scorer yet. Ezri Konsa, and it was our 2 centre-backs that combined to get Villa the eventual winner just after the hour mark, Dan. We don't often see goals from corners. It's something that I've lamented ever since this podcast started, I think. But good to get a corner in for one, and it proved to be a crucial goal for Konsa.
Yeah, it's more about getting the goals from the defenders. I think in tight games when you're struggling to score, and we were struggling to score, let's face it, set pieces and big defenders coming up for corners could be a massive facet in getting yourself over the line and getting the 3 points. And it's probably like, if I'd have had to put money on how we were going to win it, I probably would have said it's going to come from a set piece. Towards the end of the season, there was a lot of tight games that we had in those last 4 or 5, and we managed to get ourselves over the line by doing well off set pieces, and we've done it again today. Obviously, Konsa was struggling as well, so it was looking like at one point he might have to go off, but he's growing every single week, Konsa, and a goal won't do him any harm either. And it was nice movement from Mings across the front post, a little bit like the Arsenal game towards the back end of the last season. So it's something now that we're getting better at. It was something that we needed to improve on, and we've got to spread the goals around. I think we have got that striker that will get us into double figures, but you still need people from elsewhere chipping in, and that's what's won us the game tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looked like Grealish might grab one at the end as well, Dolan. Did you, when you went 1-0 up, usually as Villa fans, we're kind of thinking, all right, we're waiting for the worm to turn, and then where's the goal that we're going to concede coming from? But did you think we were kind of remained in control? Do you think we were going to go on, get a couple more?
Yeah, I thought Jack was better playing centrally. I was actually more impressed with Watkins when he moved out to the wing. I thought he looked a bit more comfortable there, strangely. I thought he looked a little bit nervous in the first half, playing up top on his own. And the thing with I think we were getting too many balls into the box, and he's not a natural header of the ball. Like you wouldn't see him as that number 9 that you whip the ball into. For me, he plays better with the ball at his feet. So I thought, Jack looked much better when he came into the middle, and I think maybe if it was 2 or 3 games into the season, he probably would have buried a few of those chances that he had tonight. But no, I thought it was a solid performance. Nobody dropped below a 6, but nobody was a 10. A 9 or a 10. So it was a solid performance, a clean sheet for me, which is massive. Sky Sports keep on bringing up the stats of last season and how many goals that we conceded in the last 50 minutes of games, and it does sort of worry you a little bit. So, but for me, you're always worried, but I think our game management's getting better and better, and for me, a clean sheet is just as important as scoring a goal and getting 3 points, because it's always something to build on.
With all post-match pints, we always bring in a range of guests, so we've got a couple more to get to. But before I do, it's been a pleasure to bring back the 3 of us again. It's felt like a little while since we've done that, but I have to break up the party, unfortunately, and just say that I'll be the one that's bowing out this evening, and bowing out for the foreseeable future. I'm going to step back from hosting some of these Villa View shows for a little bit. A couple of things personally going on, new kid coming on the way, work being very, very busy. But I'm delighted to say that Mr. Dolan will be stepping into the breach for some of it, and there'll be some other presenters as well. Dan handling some post-match pint action. You're going to have to manage the comments now, which I think we are all slightly concerned about. But yeah, I just wanted to say before I jump off, it's been an absolute pleasure, and it's been great to get these shows back on the road. I know I leave every 6 months, so expect to see me back again. I wanted to get the joke in before you did.
I was about to say it.
But yeah, in all seriousness, I really enjoyed doing these kind of lockdown shows, if you like, and I'm glad that the post match pint and the live lounge is going to carry on with you, Chris, coming back into the fold. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what you guys do with it.
So someone's just said best of luck, Tim, on the comments, which is really made me laugh. Even when you go in somewhere, someone can't get your name right. I really enjoyed that. I've got little or no faith that you'll be gone permanently, so I feel like it's not even like a goodbye, because at some point I'm sure you'll be back, but obviously it won't be the same without you. It's going to put a lot more responsibility on my shoulders, which isn't a great thing, but as I say, I think you'll be back, and it's great to have Dolan back on board as well, because I think out of the three of us, he probably speaks the most sense. So there might be some sensible football opinions on here for once. But as I say, you've had a lot of good boys over the last year or so. So I'm not going to milk it for you, but I'm sure I can tell you're a bit upset.
Yeah, it's one of those where I didn't plan on it until a few days ago, to be honest, as you well know, but it's one of these things that is inevitable for a few different reasons. So yeah, it's disappointing, and it's been a pleasure, and it's been a huge part of my life for the last few years. So yeah, I'll definitely miss it, and definitely miss chatting with you boys. But yeah, who knows when the next time will be.
Yeah, what happens now? You're just going to press disconnect and go.
I think so. Yeah, we've got other guests to come on, so somebody's going to take over the hosting duties. But I'm just gonna toddle on out. So up the Villa, glad to leave with a win, and see you boys soon.
Take care, Tim.
Bye. Is he gone yet?
He's gone. Oh, dear.
I think we can all agree Villa winning has probably overshadowed Tom leaving, so I don't think we're too bothered tonight, but maybe long term it will cause us some problems. Someone asked in the comments whether Tom can play left back. Having watched him play football, he absolutely cannot play left back. So I've seen a few things, actually. A few people have had a go at Target in the comments,
Yeah.
Dolan. I don't know what your thoughts are. I know he gave away the penalty, which we'll come on to, obviously, but he looked a bit tired to me, if anything, in the second half. I was surprised at how tired he looked.
Yeah, Target, I mean, I think he's got massive potential. I know, like, you speak to Fulham fans, and they absolutely raved about him when he was at Fulham. But yeah, I do like him. I do, but I still think we need probably another option at left back. You know, again, Neil Taylor's been a great servant for us, but I think if we want to push on to that next level, we need to kind of Matty Cash-esque left backs to sort of get up and down the pitch quicker. Listen, I like Target. I think he's probably underrated. I think if you look back at the season he had last year, I think him and Jack linked up really well. But I do think we're a little bit light at left back, just in terms of options. But I was impressed with Cash. I thought he had a very, very strong first half. I think he'll only get better and better. You know, literally the first couple of minutes, he sort of had the whole right hand side to himself. I probably would have maybe taken it on a little bit more, but still a great sort of ball into the box. And I thought he was very, very solid tonight. And you know, the three signings made all the difference, which is what you want to see. You know, so.
You definitely think we've got a bit more about us, don't you, with the players that we've brought in? Obviously, we were crying out for someone to play up top, and we've done that in Watkins. I wouldn't have said right back was something that needed upgrading, to be honest, going into the summer. I'd have probably been a bit like you and say we could do with another option at left back, because Target gets injured quite a lot. But Cash's delivery throughout, I thought, was spot on. I thought he faded a little bit as the game went on, but I did think he started like an absolute house on fire, by the way. But his delivery looked very good. He was a willing runner. He could get up and down, looked like he had bundles of energy. He was pretty much the player that the Nottingham Forest fans had described to us on social media, wasn't he?
Yeah. And the thing with both our right backs is they can both play right midfield, so you got a lot of flexibility and versatility in that area. Whereas our left backs, for me, aren't as versatile as our right backs, especially going forward. But no, I think we'll see. Still lacking up top massively. I still think we cannot rely on Watkins on his own. I think we still need another couple of wingers. You know, Trezeguet again had a solid enough game, kind of huffed and puffed. Final delivery wasn't great. I'd love to see him take a player on. You know, just take a player on and you know, run with it. Try and make the defender think. I always feel he sort of gets the ball, stops back, and then lays it off, or he'll whip it in first time. So that's that for me. I do think Rashica will probably end up coming. I think that looks to be quite. I do, yeah. I mean, it hasn't gone away, and from what I've heard from certain people, it's close. It's done. It's either done. It's either close. And for me, there's no other club I can think of, especially in England, that are infirm. So if he doesn't come to us, it'll be a team in Europe. But I'm pretty sure we'll see him. We'll see him at some point this week. I'm pretty confident. But yeah, I think another 2 or 3 definitely needed, because if you look at, if Konza had to come off tonight, we would have had a Courtney House. Is he really Premier League quality? Probably not. If Target had to come off, who do you bring in? Lee Taylor, is he really Premier League quality? Not really. You take out Luis, who do you bring in? Nakamba, is he really a top player at that level? Not really. Take off Trezeguet, who do you bring on? El Ghazi, have they really done it? Has he really done it for us consistently in the last 3 seasons? No. So I still think we're a couple short, but I'm more than confident that it'll be addressed.
Do you think, you're talking about Rashica, that's the kind of game when you're playing against 10 men and you need to break teams down?
Stretch,
do you think
yes.
Not having another player like Jack, someone who's a little bit tricky, someone that can thread the eye of a needle with the through ball, get on the ball and see a gap nobody else sees, it's kind of that game, isn't it, tonight, where you think, if Jack's not fully, I'm not saying Jack wasn't on it, by the way, but if Jack's not on it, you need someone else that can be able to pull off the passes and see things that Jack sees.
I just think it's unfair on Jacko. I think the players obviously ask a lot of him because he's so good, and we need other players to take responsibility. But again, we're probably lacking a bit in terms of quality. So yeah, for me, Rashica, he's a different kind of player from what I've seen. I mean, from what I've seen on YouTube, like most of us have seen him on YouTube, he's a lot more of a direct, pacey winger. So yeah, if we can get him in, talk again of Edouard from Celtic coming in, and if we were to get another striker in, I'd even maybe look at playing Watkins on the wing, Watkins and Rashica on the flanks, and then have Edouard up top, because I felt last night we were kind of tonight we were just whipping them balls, and there was no real kind of thought behind them. We were just sort of and it was all I said it on the WhatsApp. Sheffield United could just mop them up for fun, they'll just head them out all day long, and I think we just lacked a little bit of creativity going forward, but it'll come. So I am believe it or not, very, very happy tonight. But
a few people have said cheer up.
No, I'm delighted. I'm just I think if you ask any of the fans, if that was to be our sort of squad going into the season, I think they'd all say that we'll still need a little bit more, but it won't be. So no. I'm more than happy, and I'm more than confident it'll get addressed.
I mean, I'm expecting 2 more in at the very least. I think it will probably be 3, if I'm being perfectly honest. I don't know whether producer can just give me a nod to say whether our guest is lined up or not, or if he's ready to come on. Just a thumbs up or a thumbs down would be nice. Got the thumbs up, so hopefully Matt Lynch will be appearing on the screen very, very soon. It's a bit like a reunion show tonight.
Reunion tour, yeah.
Getting everyone on who's ever showed their face on the Villa View tonight. But there he is, second live guest of the evening. Matt, you good?
Good evening. How are we doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, well, good. Yeah, doing good after that. Anyway, it's a relief, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
And obviously you're delighted to be back on the Villa View, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. Got the late call up. You can't say no, can you? When Dan Bono gives you the call.
No, it's big. It's big to get that WhatsApp. Everyone dreams of getting that WhatsApp in, obviously. And Matt, what did you make overall of Villa tonight?
I thought we were good value for the win. First game of the season. What do we really expect? I don't think we expected it to be the high tempo that we played in the first half for 90 minutes. That's just not possible, especially against 10 men. So as soon as we also go against 10 men last season, we looked terrible. So for today to go out there and win, it's all we can really ask for. But as I come back to, it's the first game of the season. I thought a few players were definitely off the boil, but I wouldn't expect anything else. It's not like we've had a major pre-season, is it, with the turnaround? So I'm not too concerned by some of the missed performances tonight. I'm just happy that it's a game that we would have gone on and lost today last season.
Yeah, I think you raised a good point there. If you look at the comments, a few people have asked why it looked like we were still in pre-season. But I don't think we're going to be the only Premier League team that is in that mode at the moment. Certainly from the games I've seen, Villa weren't alone. But how important is it just to get the job done? Because it felt like we didn't get very many scrappy wins like that last season, and that was definitely a game that would have tripped us up on the last campaign, wasn't it?
Oh, it's the perfect start, isn't it? To go and win scrappy, I think it's probably easier for us today than going out there and sinking them for 4 after scoring that first. But just because on the factor that we have never really had that sort of steel about us. I know towards the back end of last season we had it against Arsenal, for example, but realistically last season we never really had that steel to see out games. So from that side of things, it puts us in good stead for the rest of the season. And you can't really take much more than just that it being 3 points. And you go and play Leeds and you hope for the best next time. And they're scoring a lot of goals. So for us, it's a good opportunity to prove that we have got that steely defence still.
Dolan McGinn's been getting a bit of a stick in the comments, saying he still looks off the pace. What did you think of him overall?
Yeah, he does look off the pace because that's natural because he's only really played a handful of games in the last 8 months. So of course, not only has he not played game football in the last 7, 8, 9 weeks, apart from the last the post lockdown games, he hadn't played since Christmas. So of course, it's going to take a lot of time. I mean, these guys. It's never easy. I mean, obviously, I'm not a professional athlete, unlike Dan Bardell thinks he is. But
I try.
It's going to take time. He wasn't at his best. But again, it's going to take time for everyone to gel, everyone to click. But I still think a typical McGinn at the end, 91st minute, he gets the ball in the centre of the park and just runs with it, just runs and runs and runs, gets a corner out of it, and we see the game out. So. Listen, he wasn't the best player on the pitch, but like I say, there was no particular standout performances. So it was massive 3 points. Absolutely delighted. I think, as Matt said, we probably would have gone on to either draw that game last night or concede late on. So it's all about, as I said, it's all about making progress. We're certainly making massive strides.
Man, what about Sheffield United? Because every time they visit Villa Park, the game's just absolutely full of incident. There's always something going on when Sheffield United are in town. What did you make of the sending off? I've got to be honest, I thought it was a little bit harsh. What did you think of it? Just letter of the law and that's it?
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's double jeopardy, isn't it? He's in a position where he's going to be clean through. I don't think that Egan's catching him. And I think Egan could have been a lot more savvy about it. If Egan just steps in front of Watkins, the chances are the foul isn't given, or if it is given, it's only a yellow. But he's given the referee a decision to make by clampering all over him. So, of course, it's going to be red. It looked innocuous, but I know Watkins didn't make a big deal of that. And fair play to him for doing that. So don't give the referee that decision to make. And if he's got that decision to make, there's only one way it's going, and that's a red card. And that's what he's given. So, yeah.
And Target gave the referee a decision to make as well. I've got to say, I wasn't enamoured by Villa's defending in the build-up to that. I thought it was very, very rash, but by Conser. A little bit soft, but I think that there is contact. And then at that point, the referee's never going to overturn it, is he? But what a save from Martinez.
Yeah, look, it's always a pen. I'd been fuming if Villa didn't get the opposite end. So it's a pen. It's a soft one, but it's a pen. But what a way to announce yourself to the Villa faithful than to make that save. It's a quality pen save. It's not like Lundstram has tapped the penalty and made an absolute hash of it. He's hit that well. So from that perspective, Martinez has endeared himself straight to the fans. And what a boost to the defence as well, to know that that's behind you. I'd imagine in the last season or so, the Villa defence hasn't been the most confident with the keepers behind them. So to have somebody that's pulled off that save so early on in their career is a big, big statement.
Yeah, he wasn't particularly busy, was he? But what he did do, he did very well, aside from the penalty save, which was obviously exceptional. But he just came and got the ball a couple of times, didn't he? And he's just got that authority and aura about him. And he's someone at the moment who is full of confidence off the back of what he did for Arsenal as well. How much of a big sign do you think that's going to be for Villa?
I think he'll prove to actually be a bargain. I know everybody said the price tag that he's gone for, but you look at the prices that all top keepers are going for now. I mean, Chelsea are bringing this Mendy guy in from France, and that's mental money. They've obviously got the world record for Kepa. I'm not saying that Martinez for 1 minute is at that level yet, but I think Chelsea would have been better off spending their money on Martinez. He's at that age where he's coming into his prime, as you say. He's got the back of a lot of confidence. He's obviously in the Argentina national team. It's all going for him at the moment, and in terms of experience, there's not many other keepers in the Premier League with as much experience as he's got for his age. In terms of all those loan spells that he's had, he's a well-rounded character, and I think that's what Dean Smith was probably looking for more than just being a solid keeper with lots of time to develop still, is the fact that he's a good all-round person.
But do you
think? Sorry, Don, you carry on. No, carry on.
It's so unlike Villa. I just think it shows massive intent for us to go and get, because we would never have been able to, one, afford, and two, had the kind of prestige to go and sign essentially the best keeper post-lockdown in the Premier League. Just come off, he just won the FA Cup. He's just won the Community Shield. He's played with world-class players at Arsenal. And for us, I just think, as I said before, Matt came on, I think it's the best signing of the season across the entire Premier League. I just think it's absolutely phenomenal piece of business. And we seem to act. We acted quickly, and I just think he's gonna, honestly, he will gain us 10 to 12 points this season alone.
Yeah.
From having him, and it's so important. And I think 20 million is an absolute bargain, absolute snip.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think what you're saying about the Chelsea keeper as well is absolutely spot on for someone who's unproven to be coming in for 20 million Chelsea, and they're replacing someone who probably cost, I think it was 60, 70 million at the time. And when we've pulled in someone like Martinez, I think it shows that the club has actually been operating in a pretty savvy manner this summer. I cannot believe we were talking about penalties, by the way. Not one person talked about Matt Lynch's penalty in the comments. Unbelievable.
It's been a long time.
I was waiting for it, and it just didn't come. Obviously, I'm someone myself who's missed a penalty down that end as well. Quite similar, actually. Looking back, Matt, before you go, I know you obviously had a bit of an interest in Nottingham Forest. You went to uni down there. Just talk about Matty Cash a little bit before you drop off.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, actually. I saw Matty Cash in probably the first 2 years quite a lot. Probably most weeks, actually, week in, week out when he was playing. He wasn't playing all the games, but it's interesting, really, because he was very much a midfielder in those early days at Forest, and then he's sort of been brought back and pulled back into a more defensive position, which suits him quite well. I think attacking, we saw what he can offer today. Going forwards, he's got some brilliant deliveries on him. He's essentially got the delivery of what you'd hope for Elmo, but he's got years on his side and age and the pace side of it as well, which I think we're lacking. I think it's probably harsh to say that he wouldn't do a job in midfield for us, because he would, but I think he's better used at right back. And I think it also gives us that option. I can't imagine we're going to be doing it, but to play the three at the back with wing backs, I think he suits that well as well. So from that, he's an all-round player, but more importantly as well is that defensively, he can still be solid. And we didn't really see that today. I must admit he was perhaps out of position at times, but there's still time for that. But as debuts go, I think it was up there today. I think all three of the debutants made their mark today. And yeah, for Cash, in terms of his ability, I think there's still a lot more to come. And it's just unfortunate that he's of English heritage and there's so many English right backs.
Yeah, loads.
In terms of his delivery and his output, he will prove to be a stellar signing for us. And there's a reason why the clubs in the Premier League were after him. And there's obviously a reason why Chris Wilder wanted him, when he literally operates and relies on those wing backs. So I've watched him a lot, and I think there's a lot more to come from him. And it'd be interesting to see if we stick to him at right back, because he has, like I say, got that option to be further forwards as a right sort of midfielder, winger, or even at CDM. So from that side of things, he's a versatile player. But I think we have to stick with him at right back on the basis that we don't want him to become one of those players where it's like, oh, where should we play him this week? Because that's not what anyone needs.
Well, Matt, it's been brilliant to have you on. Always nice to see your face on the Villa View. I'm sure everyone else will agree. A bit of love for you in the comments as well. Definitely have you on again in a future post-match point. Take care, pal.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you.
Cheers. Bye.
See ya.
I mean, he is the only professional journalist out of all of us, really.
Yeah.
He is the original.
Myself as well. Yeah,
he is the original, and I think it's safe to say that we all learned a lot off the early days of Matt Lynch, and I always find his delivery is just so good in terms of like the way he just he's a true professional. So it was always good to see Matt Lynch. But just on that
Chris,
back,
calm down.
Well, just giving the guy some love. It's nice to be nice. Just here on that back four, I said to you on the WhatsApp, I think it's great to see an all English back four.
Yeah,
I think it's brilliant. It gives us a DNA. For me, we haven't seen the likes of that since maybe O'Neill or John Gregory whenever we had a real solid English spine to the team. And I think you always want to see homegrown players, and you always want to see players coming through the ranks. And we're looking like we're getting a real, the average age is dropping down. We're building a side, as I just said, with an identity and a DNA. Who Smith will get them playing, and no, definitely looking good.
Yeah, Mark Jarobi's made a good comment in the chat saying £5 just been deducted from Matt Lynch's bank account into Chris Dolan's. That's definitely gone straight in there. Probably a good time to talk about our sponsors, Purity. I couldn't for the life of me tell you what their address is, their website address. So hopefully it might flash up on the screen. But yeah, they're sponsoring us again for these post-match points, which is obviously great to have an association with them. It's probably worth me saying at the moment as well that me and you have got no Purity in the house.
Say, it'd be nice to
need that rectified.
Drinking a cup of tea here. It'd be nice to have a nice little chill glass of Purity ale. Would be lovely.
Yeah. Also, just seen an absolute giant spider run across my floor, which is a little bit of a concern. One thing I did think about Matt Lynch, actually, he made a very good point about Matty Cash having the delivery of Elmo. Do you think he's got the pace and the energy of Gilbert as well? So it's kind of like a cross between the two, isn't it? I think that's worth pointing out. Very
similar to Gilbert. Very, very similar. I feel for Gilbert, actually. I think I think he's probably not going to be around this season. I think it's harsh because he was bought essentially for us being in the Championship, and every time. I mean, that Everton game. I mean, you were there, weren't you, last season at home, and he came in and he was outstanding. And then again when he came on at the end of last season, I thought again he was outstanding when Collins moved into the centre back and Gilbert moved to right back. So it's a shame, but it looks to me that most of the players that didn't make the bench tonight are probably going to be moved on. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. We're surprised by the fact we have 3 defenders on the bench this evening. Are you just saying that the players that didn't make the bench tonight, Lansbury, Samatta, because you'd have thought really there's no need, Hotter as well, because there isn't really a need for Taylor, Horse and Elmo, if we're being perfectly honest. No. Those players' futures that weren't on the bench tonight, they're in a bit of trouble, aren't they?
I think so, and I think Dean knows that we've got players coming in this week. You add Traore into that team, and then you've got an extra winger on the bench. Yep. So either Trezeguet or El Ghazi. So I think there was probably a reason behind that. It was very much an early season pre-transfer window closure bench. I mean, there was nothing really coming from the bench. But I thought Davis did well when he came on.
You like Davis, don't you?
Love to see him. I just love to see him get a Prem goal, and I think he works really hard, and his whole play is excellent, and just missing that final killer instinct, But I just think he's a real grafter.
Yeah, nice to see some familiar names in the comments as well. I've seen Cyberdon Blue pop up a couple of times, just in an Arsenal fan actually pop up as well. He's obviously tuned in to hear what we say about Martinez. I always think it's a good sign when fans of the team that the players have left are very, very complimentary. And that does seem to be the case with Cash, Watkins and Martinez, to be fair. All the fans of the teams that they've departed are upset to see them go, but wish them all the best. And that's quite rare. And that probably tells you a lot about the type of person we try and get into the club as well, because we know that the coach, Dean Smith, and the coaching staff, they're very particular about the personality of the players that they're getting, aren't they, Chris?
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think I brought that point up last week about Martinez, because I think we signed him the day of the Burton game, and I said, Arsenal fans are a hard bunch to please, and they were devastated, absolutely devastated. I've not even heard not a single negative comment about that transfer. That's why again, I'll say it for the third time tonight. Best piece of business this transfer window, easily. Brentford fans are a nice bunch. We got to know them quite well over the last few years, and they probably ended up feeling quite sorry for us because we couldn't buy a win at Griffin Park, and then obviously we buy Hogan off them, and we buy obviously Hotza came, but to spend that money on Hogan, and it didn't quite work out, and then to bring in Watkins, I think it'll be a different story with him. But definitely, absolutely spot on.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure everyone in the chat's bound to wish Scott Hogan well in his move that he's got in the last week or so as well. So we definitely wish him all the best at Blues. I think our next guest is ready. I think Ty Bracey, the loudmouth from Twitter, is about to come on. Hopefully I'll get the thumbs up again. There he is.
How you doing, boys?
The real Slim Shady. There he is.
Yeah, looking cool in those headphones, mate.
Yeah, it's because my Mac gives absolute mad echo. I get told off at work all the time for just rattling echo, so I just put headphones on to be safe.
Yeah, you're a pretty positive Villa fan, to be fair. So I imagine you'll be buzzing with tonight. Any win's a good win, isn't it?
Absolutely, mate. There's a few negative parts, but I think that comes with being overly optimistic at the start of the season, which this year I haven't done. No, I have. I've been optimistic, but not overly. Like when I seen us pump Leipzig, pre-season last year, I was Here we go, Europa League, come at me, bro. And I've just toned it down a little bit this year, but yeah, over the moon with 3 points.
Yeah, who impressed you tonight for Villa? Who stood out?
I mean, as Matty Lynch said, getting that penalty save. Unbelievable from Martinez. He looks so cool and composed on the ball for someone who doesn't get regular first-team football. The confidence is there, and that's something we've been lacking, in a keeper, apart from Heaton for a long time at Villa. Ezri Konsa looks bang on the money. Looked really solid, and obviously he got the goal as well. And Matty Cash sank into the Premier League, just perfectly. I think he had a great debut, and to see his balls go in the box, fantastic balls in the box, looking really dangerous.
Were you a bit concerned though that it didn't feel like there was anyone going to get on the end area? Obviously the opposition we're playing tonight, Sheffield United, that's their bread and butter, isn't it? They play usually when they're not getting men sent off with three massive centre halves. Were you a bit concerned at the manner in which we tried to break them down? Because it didn't feel like we were going to have that incisiveness tonight, and obviously the goal has come from a set piece.
I found we put in a lot more balls into the box in this game as opposed to last season. Really, I feel like we were trying to distribute more balls into the box. Obviously, you got three massive centre backs. Then when they had a man sent off, they're constantly on the back foot. Probably playing for a draw and maybe hoping for a counter attack. But it was always going to be tough to break them down with 11 men, let alone 10. They had 10 men behind the ball up until we went 1-0 up. But Watkins just seems to be in the right place, and I think that's something we definitely lacked in Samatta. He definitely seems like he's in the right place at the right time with the balls coming in the box.
Yeah. Dolan, what did you make of Jack tonight? We haven't really spoke about him so far, which is rare because any Villa show that I do, I'm always talking about Jack, and he's obviously the subject of many things in the Villa fan base. Southgate was in the crowd. I saw him, the Sky camera cut to him right in the notes. He was probably writing about Mason Mount whilst he was sat there. Do you think he'd have been impressed with Jack tonight?
Yeah, Jack was good. Without being good, he's still the best player on the pitch by a country mile. Every time he gets the ball, he just draws in fouls. Nobody was particularly great. Nobody had a particularly standout game. But I tell you what, man, you made the statement about Mings playing for England. I think if Konsa keeps us going, I can see Konsa forcing his way into that team. I think he's certainly, if Jack didn't particularly impress tonight, I think Konsa certainly would have given Southgate a bit of food for thought. I'd certainly have Konsa in the team ahead of Harry Maguire any day of the week. I'm going to call it. I can see Konsa in the England squad in the next 12 months easily. He won't make the Euro squad, but I reckon after the European squad, I think he'll bring him in if he carries on playing like that. For me, he was one of our best players post lockdown. When he moved into the back with Mings, he was outstanding, absolutely outstanding. I think Konsa certainly would have stood out massively for Southgate tonight.
I think Konsa, the thing he actually has got on his side is that Southgate very much likes the development from through the age group. So he likes to pull people from the under-21s who've got that experience of having a tournament like Konsa has with the under-21s, and then putting them in the full side. So I think he does have that on his side, to be fair. Ty, what did you think of Jack tonight as well? He wasn't his best performance. It wasn't his most flashy performance, but he's always our danger man without a doubt, isn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. He was trying those 1-2s very close together with a lot of defenders around. But, as I said, when they had 10 men behind the ball,
it's hard.
Even Super Jackie's going to struggle. Do you know what I mean? It's just one of those. But, I don't think he had a bad game at all.
Do you think the people that have been negative are perhaps overlooking the fact that it isn't always easy to play against 10 men? Because you're playing essentially, like you say, with a team with just men behind the ball, and Sheffield United are very drilled, very organised. It's not as easy as it looks, is it, that kind of game?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, when you've got 10 men, there's definitely no excuse from the 10 that are on the pitch for anyone to be lazy. So everyone has to really pull together and work that little bit harder anyway. And Ollie Watkins is in there. But as I said earlier, he was just in the right place. It's just, you've got 3 massive, solid centre-backs. And, Sheffield United, as much as they've had a rocky start and they've got some horrible fixtures coming up, they shouldn't be taken for granted. So 3 points is 3 points on the opening day of the season. Massive, mate.
Yeah, I think as well, like on that point, sorry, Dan, I think Villa are always partial to a mistake, and nobody made mistakes in it. Maybe Target for the penalty, but nobody gave the ball away. There wasn't that many misplaced passes. So it was very, very solid. It just wasn't flashy from anyone. It was just very, very solid, and it has to be against 10 men. And you look at the games last year. Really picked up 1 win. We had 10 men against Arsenal, West Ham, and Brighton, and we only won against Brighton.
Loads.
And so tonight it wasn't flashy, it wasn't solid, but it's 3 points and it's massive. It's massive.
Yeah, we made tough work of that Brighton win as well. If that was the only one that we won against 10 men. Yeah. Obviously, we've got a winnable game next as well. I mean, all games are winnable essentially, but Fulham at home's a nice game to have next. We've obviously got the Cup on Thursday as well. Ty, Dolan's talking about two or three more players coming in. What are you expecting to see from Villa the rest of the window?
Well, I've talked to you both very closely about these things. Usually it's me winding down up more than ever, but me and Dolan talk quite a lot about transfers and stuff. Obviously, we did a bit of a madness on Twitter during the weekend with the free Rasitska movement and stuff. I'd love to see him in, and I think the plan is, especially after watching that FIFA ratings video with Jack, to bring Jack more central. Because him and Dean were having a bit of banter and a bit of a dig at each other. But I think the plan is to put Jack more in the centre part of the pitch, to be fair. So, I mean, if we can get someone with those type of legs and, an eye for goal, I'll be over the moon, mate.
Yeah, well, it's always good to have you on, Ty. I'm sure we'll have you on again. Everyone will know Ty's Twitter, so I don't know actually, saying everyone knows it. I haven't got a clue what it is, but I'm sure, pick him up on Twitter because he's always there mouthing off, as we saw earlier today. But it's always good to see you, brother.
And you, mate. Thanks for having me on, guys.
See you later, man.
See you, mate.
Yeah, definitely the loudest man on Twitter. Probably the loudest man on the Villa View in terms of hair and all that as well, which is something you've been renowned for over the years. But I tell you what, Ty's done you there, hasn't he?
I'm keeping it simple, mate. I'm keeping it simple these days. Nice, simple, short back and sides does the trick at my age. I'm 34 in a few weeks, mate. So
don't even talk to me about age.
Any more silly haircuts? How was your birthday? By the way,
good, mate. Good, yeah, really good. Not delighted to be turning 35, but as Curtis Davis said to me on my Instagram, it's still pretty young, so he's still playing. So he's one of the few professional footballers that's actually the same age as me. But yeah, they're running out, and I'm not happy about turning 35. Bringing it away from my age, and just the games we've got coming up. League Cup again on Thursday, quick turnaround there, and then Fulham on Monday at Villa Park in the league. Yeah. Two wins.
I don't think we'll win on Thursday night. No, I don't think we'll win on Thursday. No, I don't know. Well, it depends what team they put out. It depends what team we put out. But I mean, they're flying at the minute. They look pretty good. From what I've seen. From what I've seen of Bristol, the first few games, they seem bang up for it. It just depends who we put out. But every game's tough. Fulham away is never easy to go to.
It's at home. Oh no, it's away, isn't it? He's away.
It's away. It's a Craven Cottage. Yeah, it's a Craven Cottage.
My favourite away ground.
Great away day. I've had many great nights there. But they're certainly they're looking very, very shaky. I think they're probably going to struggle this year. That boy Hector at the back looks a little bit all over the show, and they look very, very leaky. But yeah, I fancy us against Fulham. I do. I really do. It depends who we can get in. If we can get in Rashika, Traore will obviously start on Thursday, I hope, for a bit of fitness. He can play on Monday, and if we another 2 additions to that first 11 will then make the bench stronger as well. And I do fancy us against Fulham next Monday. I do. I think we're more than capable of going there and getting a positive result. What do you think about the next couple?
Yeah, I mean, Fulham, like you say, defensively, they're looking a bit of trouble early doors, don't they? I think they need to do some business in the defence. I noticed that Doy's still playing for them. He's been there for a few years now, and I think he showed he wasn't Premier League quality the last time they were in the Premier League. So I think they're in a little bit of trouble. I think we look a bit more solid, and I think we can cause them problems. Like you say, we might have a couple in by then as well. I fancy us. I've got to be honest. I fancy us going there. I mean, my record of going to Craven Cottage is absolutely abysmal. So the fact that we can't go is probably a good thing. But yeah, overall, I know people are probably thinking we should have took Sheffield United apart today with 80 or so minutes against 10 men, but it's a win, and I'm feeling good about what we've done. I'm feeling good about the business we've done. I think we're operating in a really savvy way this summer compared to 12 months ago, although I know there were caveats last summer. I just think we're in a really good place, and I'm pretty positive, mate.
I think so, and it's just nice to be. It's nice to feel like we're acting like a big club again. And,
that's true.
You know, it would be nice to hear. It'd be lovely to hear maybe an interview or two with the owners, but what they're doing is absolutely phenomenal. And you know, you look at the whole setup in general. I love what Purcell's doing with the academy. I know we're working on Bodymore Heath. I think it's the only way's up. The only way's up. And I said last year I thought we'd struggle, and we did. I think this year I think we'll finish around about the sort of 12th to 14th kind of position, which I would bite your hand off, because it's going to be gradual. It'll be gradual. I would just love to know what they told Jack Grealish in that FaceTime meeting. I'd love to know what they said to him to keep him here. But listen, it's exciting. It's really exciting, and I'm buzzing. And any 3 points is massive. And you look at tonight, and if you break it down, and you know, goalkeeper was phenomenal. Penalty save. Played some good football at times. You know, clean sheet. 3 points. Players to come in. No, it's all good, man. It's all good.
I think that sums it up pretty well, and we'll end on that. Once again, thanks to Purity, and you'll notice the code at the bottom of your screen. If you do fancy getting yourself some Purity/Villa goodies from there, you can use the code #VillaView, and you'll get 10% off your order. Dolan, it's been great to have you back as well. Yes. Obviously, a bit of a surprise. We were obviously planning on bringing you back in anyway, but a big surprise to lose Tom last week. And obviously, I'm sure everyone sends Tom their best. He's been a massive part of the channel over the last 3 or 4 years. So it's sad to lose him, but hopefully he'll be back one day. But first show back full time, Chris. Villa win. Excellent stuff.